What's up, everybody? GeauxBurns tossing on my lab coat. Hey, you can buy them actually. You go down to like a clothing store for like doctors and nurses. You can have your own doctor's coat for like 20 bucks. Side issue. So, anyways, we're going to be discussing something very important, an ongoing debate that's been happening in Grand Theft Auto Online since the dropping of executives and other criminals nearly a month ago over the Schafter V12. Is it the fastest ride in Grand Theft Auto Online? That's what so many of you would like to know. And it's a discussion that Dane and I had the other day in the comment section of my Grand Theft Auto Online Tank V12 video, which was part of my Misadventure Monday series. Anyways, so the discussion, which I've heard from many gamers out there and YouTubers, is the V12 the fastest ride in the game now? Some people say yes, other people say no. Well, we're going to get to the bottom of it in this video. At least, I hope we will. For the record, I absolutely love the V12. I think it is the fastest sedan in Grand Theft Auto Online, and I personally own the armored version of the V12, which I think is probably the best car pound for pound. It's fast, it has bulletproof windows, it's got armor on it so it can take a beating, and it can get you out of trouble. But is the V12 the fastest ride? That's what we're going to decide. So how do we do this? First off, we got to put the V12 up against some of the other faster rides in the game, including the Adder, Zentorno, Osiris, and T20. These 5 rides, we're going to check them out, and we're going to determine which one is the fastest. Now, we're not going to use LSIA. We're not going to run a straight line to determine which ride is the fastest because that's ridiculous. That's nonsense. Why, you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's because you have to go by overall stats. Speed, acceleration, braking, and traction. And a straight line alone does not determine whether or not a vehicle happens to be the fastest ride in the game. So how do we determine which vehicle is the fastest? Well, it's very simple. You get a track that has a curve to it, basically a round or an oval, like a racetrack, for example. We'll go with criminal records, and we'll put criminal records on 3 laps. And what I did was I took each of these rides, the V12, the Adders, Zentorno, Osiris, and T20. I raced them over and over and over again, trying to get better and better. And once I got a time that I felt was the fastest that ride could go. Well, the fastest I can do, because I'm not the best racer out there, as most of my fellow subscribers, fans, viewers know from my Racing Badly series. But I consider the fastest times to be my best times. And I spent several hours doing this, racing the V12 several times, the Adder a number of times, the Zentorno, Osiris, T20, you get the idea, until I got times that I was happy with. And it's pretty simple. The vehicle that has the fastest time is the fastest ride in Grand Theft Auto Online. So let's see how the vehicles stacked up regarding their times. And these were the best times that I put together for each of the vehicles. Now, I did the V12 a few more times than the supercars just to make absolutely sure that I was spot on concerning its speed. So I didn't want to leave anything to chance concerning the V12 because a lot of people believe that the V12 unarmored version is the fastest ride in the game. Well, I hate to disappoint all of you, but it was actually the slowest compared to the supercars. Its fastest speed was 1 minute 23 seconds. Its second fastest speed was 1 minute 24 seconds. Doing 3 laps around criminal records. Coming in at 4th place is the Adder, clocked at 1 minute and 22 seconds, doing 3 laps around criminal records. Now, once upon a time, the Adder was the fastest supercar in Grand Theft Auto Online. That was before updates and DLCs started rolling out, such as the High Life update gave us the Zentorno. Then, over a year later, we got 2 more supercars, thanks to Ill-Gotten Gains Part 1 and 2, which dethroned the Adder as the fastest supercar. Now, one thing I did forget to mention, it slipped my mind admittedly, is that these are all standard non-modded versions of their rides. None of these vehicles are souped up. They have no upgrades whatsoever. So that's what I did with these 5 particular rides, the V12, the Adder, Zentorno, Osiris, and T20. So feel free and try out this experiment for yourself. Try out the V12 for 3 laps, see how fast you can get her to go. Then try out one of the other supercars, or all the other supercars that I included, and make sure you do it on 3 laps, that it's the standard, non-modded version, and you actually do an almost perfect race, because I realize some of you might be better than me at racing, obviously. So I just want to see how my times compare to your times, if you feel like giving this a go. Coming in third place is the Zentorno from the High Life update. It clocked in at 1 minute and 20 seconds. The Zentorno, of course, came with the High Life update, and up until Ill-Gotten Gains Part 1 and 2, it was the fastest supercar in the game. Now we're at the final 2 places, first and second. Now this was very close, because these 2 cars are almost identical in everything: speed, acceleration, traction, braking. Some got pros in some spots, cons in others, and there's another debate about which of these 2 is the best supercar, and the truth is it could go either way. What it really comes down to is how good the driver is. But after testing all 5 of these rides, racing them over and over again, I think you get the idea. It took me a while to do this. Coming in at second place, barely, is the Osiris with 1 minute 19 seconds, 0.8. In other words, the Osiris is definitely one fast supercar, which came out with Ill-Gotten Gains Part 1, but it is not the fastest according to my test. Your test may have different results, but coming in at about roughly 7 milliseconds faster, clocking at 1 minute and 19 seconds, 0.1, is the T20 from Ill-Gotten Gains Part 2. So there you have it, the 5 fastest rides in Grand Theft Auto Online clocked, doing 3 laps around criminal records, the standard non-modded versions of each ride. The V12, 1 minute 23 seconds, the Adder, 1 minute 22 seconds, the Zentorno, 1 minute 20 seconds, and the Osiris, 1 minute 19 seconds, 8 or 9 milliseconds, depending if you want to estimate it or not. And finally, of course, the fastest ride in Grand Theft Auto Online, according to science, is the T20, clocked in at 1 minute 19 seconds and 1 or 2 milliseconds.